Beatriz?
Thank you, Maria. I am here to tell you today, folks, that I've seen a lot of videos, I've read a lot of articles. I believe in education, not incarceration. I think that we need to give our students counseling, resources, and community service, and we need to address the problem at the school, not at the jails. I personally think that our schools need to focus on de-escalation, conflict resolution, trauma intervention, and relationship building. I am for a safe, welcoming, and nurturing environment. To me personally, school was my safe haven. I will support restorative justice. Restorative justice to me is a second opportunity. I have a brother who was deported because he was found with marijuana in the car with his friend. He did not have that opportunity, okay? And I think that when we have a school to prison pipeline, that leaves students with little room for error, which is what happened to my brother. I will support it, and I won't change my view on it, because again, I believe in restoration. Thank you.
Thank you, Beatriz. Bruce?
Yeah, we can't, Bruce again, we can't incarcerate our way out of the problems that exist in the educational system. So yeah, I strongly believe in the practices that Valeria Mesqua on the school board has been largely instrumental in instituting. She's been largely responsible. I give her a lot of credit. She's supporting me on the school board, and I want to continue those practices. Suspensions are down 59% in the school because of restorative, largely because of restorative practice. Is it perfect? No. Whenever you institute a new program, it's not going to be perfect. There's going to be problems. But we can address those problems. But I can tell you what doesn't work. Just putting a kid in the principal's office all day long as a way of addressing a problem, that creates other problems, much bigger problems. So restorative practices are working. I know in my own family, with my own child, she was a very difficult child. And a lot of the teachers would give up on her, administrators would give up on her. But she was given additional chances, and she succeeds. She's third year now, pre-med student in college. So I look at her and I look at other students. Every child deserves an infinite number of chances if we can give them that. And that's our responsibility. I mean, certainly if at one point they become violent, there's some area that we can't help them, we'll have to institute other measures. But until we get to that point, we have to keep trying.
Thank you, Bruce. Alfonso?
I wanted to start off by saying go Saints. I'm a social worker by profession. In the field of social work, we start off with the premise that everybody has the ability to change. Everybody has the ability to become better, and that's what restorative justice is about, giving an opportunity to reform and to do better. I feel that we have to build a safe school climate. Restorative justice is one of those ways to implement a safe school climate. There are a lot of ways to deal with the different things that are going on in the schools. I believe that the most effective solution is to work with the students, give them the services, give them the support that they need. Instead of criminalizing them, let's help them. Let's help them become better people. Thank you.
Alfonso, thank you. Mark?
Every day students come to the campuses and they have challenges that they've had from home, their parents, their community. And I think that what we have to do is we have to consider a strategy, as Alfonso said. We have to look at the overall, how do we help the behavioral characteristics of our students, and how do we give them the strength that they need to continue to be good students and grow. Restorative justice obviously is something that happens kind of after the fact when something has occurred. I believe that one of the things we have to do from a strategy point of view is we've got to provide more counseling and behavioral counseling early on in the school districts. When the budgets were cut back about 5 or 10 years ago, the first group that went were the counselors and the librarians, and now we have to get back to where we were back in that time frame, and we have to get the counselors in there to work with the students, to give the students that confidence, to give the students the help that they need so that we can eliminate the pipeline to prison. I mean, that really is our goal. We need to eliminate that particular situation. I mean, if you look at the numbers right now, the amount of money that's spent on incarceration in the state of California, it's about $50,000. That's 5 students being educated. And I think if we can do something like that to where we can reduce the number of people that are incarcerated, bring that money to the education process in the state, we'll all benefit from that. Thank you, Mark.
So again, like everyone else, I also support, this restorative justice practice because it's an alternative to the punitive measures that have been instituted, particularly since the 1980s and 1990s. And it's not just targeting schools, it's also targeting our communities, because these punitive measures also included, for example, funding ICE, right, and deportation policies. So it's a criminalization of our community. So this is an important piece, because if we don't solve the school-to-prison pipeline, we'll continue to increase the number of our communities that go into the criminal justice system. But I do want to point out 5 quick things. One is I support the expansion of these practices beyond the 9 pilot schools. We have to think about this system-wide. The second is, again, think about restorative justice in the context of what are called positive behavioral intervention systems, or response to intervention. Basically, everybody in the school has to contribute in some form or other to a safe and inclusive climate, so that everybody sees a responsibility in themselves, not just the counselors, right? And then thirdly, we have to also engage law enforcement, also the school police, as well as, in particular, because if they're not into this practice, it may backfire, right? So we have to make sure that the law enforcement also understands what restorative justice is, and that we have dialogue so it doesn't just get thrown out with the bathwater. And then finally, we also have to look at not just the school, but the community end of things, because once the students leave the schools, we also have to look at how can we have law enforcement from the city understand their part as well.